Hello, beautiful friends. Thank you for being here. I thought it would be beautiful to jump on. Happy summer solstice. If you're watching this today, it's so potent, it's so powerful, it's so much to talk about. So, I literally have no idea what I'm going to talk about as usual. You know how it is. I'm just going to jump in and flow and see whatever comes up through the heart. So, I guess the first thing I do want to say is that it's been 110 in the shade, and I'm not just talking about the weather. I mean, it's just been so hot, so intense, as always. Some really beautiful quote I like to share from Carl Jung is, I feel like I'm suffocating in the heat of my own sun. I think that's really accurate for, I think, how a lot of us are feeling in general, but especially with these ascension energies. I mean, everything is continuing to just heat up and intensify, and it's just incredible how life can expand, like how much your life can push you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. How it can constantly blow your mind every single day. There's no limits. Really the only limits is the limits that we set for ourselves. And I think I've heard a wise person say before, there's no limits to limitations. What we can do with our mind and how we can limit ourselves. So, yeah, continuing to break free and to break those, because I think that's why a lot of times it's so painful. Is it's in a way, it's like we're breaking new shackles every day. I guess that's one way to look at it, because we're breaking free of the matrix. We're expanding into this infinite creation, and we're also remembering who we are again. We're actually just coming back home again. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. And I think I personally, I feel it so much because not only am I feeling it in my own life, but you can feel it so much in the collective right now. And I see it everywhere. I see it in other people's lives that I know, and even coming across, people I don't even know, and just sensing like the processes that they're going through as well. Especially for, I would say, a lot of our brothers and sisters that are starting to wake up now. It's a doozy. I can really feel it. I remember that, I remember going through that. So lots of compassion for that, for when, I think can be really, it's really hard when you're, for me personally, I feel in a way I'm lucky because I never was really that invested in this matrix. Obviously, like everyone, I was born into it, but I think it's really, really hard for people that are so invested into it. They invested so much time, so much money, so much life force energy, just so much of their, that's how the matrix gets you. But the thing is, it's never too late. And that's what, something that comes up from my heart that I wish I could just share with everyone is that, no matter how deep you are, how, deep in this inverted matrix you are, deep inside this deception you are, you really always can break free. You can always heal. There's nothing you can't overcome in this world, because we're far greater than anything in this world. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it's possible. And it's really just a matter of having that will, having that vision, and having that faith. Faith, I think, is the best word. That knowing, or at least that willingness to find out, maybe I can break through this. Maybe I can be stronger than this. Whatever it is you're facing, whether it's something, this could be applied to whatever we're going through, because no matter what's happening in your life right now, it's like we're always expanding. That's part of why we're here. Even though in a way we are actually completely whole and complete always. And I want to talk about that for a moment too. Because there's so many, it's so interesting trying to share these like spiritual things, and this is why it's so important to remember that you really can't teach these things. Like, people can teach these things, but it really is up to you to like go within yourself and really feel this information, because one, there's so many nuances in everything. Everything, it seems so paradoxical and multidimensional. Maybe it's true in one sense and it's not true in another, when we're speaking about these like energetic and spiritual teachings. And and even with that, every single one of us is truly a unique fractal of God. It's like, imagine a geometric shape with literally infinite sides, and that's life. And that's like, so we're all going to be having different experiences of this one same life on Earth. So I just wanted to share that for some reason too, and keep that in mind as you're going about it, because everything you need is truly within you, and all of your answers are within you, within your heart, within your love. And that's exactly what I wanted to get into, because this is something that's been really dawning on me, more than ever. And I think it's probably the most indispensable tool you can possibly have, no matter what you're going through. And it's unconditional love. And it's simple. There's no need to complicate it in the mind. It's simple. To access it, all you have to do is take a moment to go inside yourself and just surrender. Literally just surrender. Everything, every story, every feeling, every thought, every happening, until you reach that point within you that loves you no matter what. Until you reach that point of you. It's inside of you. It's inside everyone. Otherwise you wouldn't even be alive. To reach that point in you that truly does love you no matter what. Think about how different life is when you start tapping into that eternal observer within you. Every day. Twice a day. Every hour. As often as you can, as often as you feel called. Because that's the real you. And that's where so much of our strength and power is, in that presence. Because this is the thing about awakening, and I don't, as far as I know, this isn't going to change, at least not for a very long time, is that you're going to constantly be in these situations where it just gets really intense. It's like, that's just part of life. It's like, regardless of the situation that's happening, you're going to have these moments, most likely in your life, where you feel pain, or you feel weak, or you feel helpless, or you feel confused, or you feel lost. And even if it's just brief periods or long periods. And I truly think that, for me, that's been one of the greatest realizations is, find that space within yourself, no matter what, even if you're having an amazing time, even if you're having a great time, that's how you can really, 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 really tap into that as well. That's the beauty of unconditional love. There's no conditions. But, if you're going through it, because again, I think, all of us are going through it, in one way or another, it's really intense. I mean, it's really hot. That for some reason, that's how it feels to me. It's 110 in the shade. It's like, it's so intense. It's like that sun is beating down. Maybe it's the solar flares. It's summer solstice. It's just like the energy is strong. It's a very active energy. So that's the first thing I just wanted to share, just as a reminder, though. is that force of love. Because love, again and again, you'll find in your spiritual journey, there's so many different ways you can experience this. There's so many different ways you can, go within and achieve this. But no matter who you are, you're going to find again and again and again, always, that unconditional love is the true, like, core of everything. It's the answer to everything in one way or another, as far as healing and creation. And, again, that's part of the 3D matrix, is we've been so conditioned to not love ourselves and to not love others. Because that's the thing, is like, the more you can do this for yourself and love yourself like this, no matter what you're feeling, because we create all these conditions, like, and this is really why we suffer so much, is because it's like, like, I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling depressed, or I'm feeling guilty, or I'm not feeling good enough, or, I didn't. And even when we make mistakes, because everyone makes mistakes, even if you actually make a mistake and then you feel, that shame or that guilt, or maybe you didn't even make a mistake. Sometimes we're so hard on ourselves. And especially, I want to touch on this as well, is like interacting with other people. Relationships is a big part. We're learning how to interact with, in our relationships, again, with ourselves and with each other, in a new way, in a way that is standing in our power, not giving our power away, or, looking to others to give us some kind of power or validation, or like caring about the opinions of others, even if it's people very dear to you. You can really, that can be really confusing sometimes. So that's kind of my point, is especially in moments like that, is just remember, again, even if you made a mistake or whatever has happened, take a moment to just go within yourself and surrender and pull off those onion layers of stories and reasons why you feel bad, reasons why you shouldn't feel bad, reasons why, feeling bad is bad, or like, we have all these conditions and all these, again, mostly stories. Because, again, no matter what, no matter what emotions you're feeling, no matter what thoughts you're thinking, no matter what events you're going through in your physical life, you're always going to be able to tap into that deep part of you that loves you no matter what. Another really weird thing about this is that this is really weird, and this is like something I think we all really, really have to consider, because this is something that often it's like our ego hides this from us. But something strange about this deep, deep unconditional love inside you is that it's almost like we've been programmed to actually be afraid of that. It's like we've been programmed to not access that. It's really strange. It's like we'd rather just sit here and suffer in these like victim mentalities. Again, that's just that ego, that's that trauma, that's that, beautiful but, hurt inner child oftentimes that wants to be in victim mentality. And even if you are in victim mentality, that's what I'm saying though, even if you are fully, feeling that, it's like even in those moments you can go in and tap into that unconditional love. It's just like an anchor. It's like a fire that's always burning. And when you focus on it, no matter how bad you might feel, if you just let it all go for a moment and focus on that part of you that literally loves you no matter what, no matter how bad you fuck up, no matter how bad you feel, no matter how crazy your mind is going, that's going to heal you. The more you can focus on that. And again, the ego is probably going to have resistance to that, especially when you are feeling bad. That's why it's so important to remember. Because oftentimes, when we need to meditate the most is when we want to meditate the least. That's kind of like our ego's defense mechanism. Once it gets that control, it doesn't want to give it up. And again, we're we're always kind of at this point toggling a lot of times between, the ego and the higher self in different aspects of ourselves. So it's just something to be aware of. I hope that makes sense. And that's just kind of the biggest thing that I want to come out. Because it's just, there's so much compassion to be had for the human experience, for you, for me, for everyone. All of our brothers and sisters. It's just such a rabbit hole. The more you really, I guess, experience and investigate what the hell is even going on here, the more you do, the more you find that, wow, the you see all this crazy stuff going on in the world, and all these absurd things, people acting out of fear, people just going along with tyranny and evil, people participating in tyranny and evil. And I think it's like, we understand the basis of that those people are traumatized, and that's what they're coming from. And it's still mind-boggling, but I think it's just, so important to really have reverence, to really see, like, oh wow, like, the pain that people carry is truly immense. The pain that we've all carried is immense. And if you're watching this and you understand what I'm saying, then it's like, we're fortunate enough to have healed ourselves enough and cleared ourselves enough to get to this point where we can understand that. And that's such a blessing. That's such a gift. That's such something to be grateful for, truly. And there's a reason for it. So that just made me think of something new to talk about. I hope that's clear, though. I just really felt called to remind us of that, because it really gets so rocky. It doesn't matter like how healed you are, or how advanced you are, or how much you've experienced. In fact, it just gets more and more intense. It's like the more you can handle, it's like the more, I don't know how to say it, it's almost like the more like God gives you, the more the universe gives you, but only because you can handle it. And it's really beautiful work. I'm a firm believer that there really is no limit to what we can do if we really set our mind to it. We are powerful creators. Something, though, I did want to speak on is, it is incredible how much the collective is shifting, though. And I feel like I just want to say again, I've said this before, but just again, like, this work that we're doing here is so meaningful and so powerful, and you can really see it shifting. And it might seem like baby steps, but it's still incredible. And I think the greatest way you can tap into this is just to go again within your heart and feel. You can feel how much things are shifting. It's so deep. It's so deep. Because I think we're really at a point more and more where humanity is more and more coming to have to face the fact that everything is super messed up. And I just mean as far as like, the whole system, the way everything is backwards and inverted, the way that we have not been valuing human life. It's like there's a lot of people that are really starting to see that. That's just how I feel. And it's like, I don't know, I guess I just have compassion and reverence for that, because it's a doozy. It is a doozy. But I think that at the same time, we're really blessed, because that's the point I'm getting at, is that by us doing the work that we're doing every single day, and this seems so abstract, but it really is true. It's just like they call the 100th monkey effect. If, enough monkeys in one, I don't know, country discovers something new, then somehow magically, monkeys in a totally different continent will at the same time learn the same thing. If you guys never heard of that, I think it's called 100th monkey effect. But that's just an example of like the collective consciousness and how it works. So it's like when we are able to have these struggles, whatever it is, we all have a burden to carry. And when we're able to move through that and transmute that in our daily lives, and really, it's just like, they say, like the shadow is like, it is, that's where your superpowers are. All your shadows, it's actually when you start diving into those and healing those and transmuting that, that's where like you'll literally find your greatest gifts. So yeah, it's painful and it hurts, but it's so worth it every time. And so not only is that your own individuation, your own self-actualization, your own expansion, but as you do that, you literally radiate those codes out to the collective, like out of your energy, out of your aura, around people you pass by physically, people people in your relationships, you emanate that energy out naturally, and in the collective consciousness within. It's like you're creating these new neural pathways of like, it's like I can wake up, I can overcome abuse, I can overcome deception, I can overcome manipulation, I can overcome illness, and if it's something that's never even been done before, then it's like perhaps you have the opportunity to be the first one to create that blueprint, or one of the first ones to create that blueprint, if you know that anything is possible in your heart, and you know that you are powerful, that you can do it. And one of the things another thing that I'll speak on for a little bit is just really being the higher self, like being the higher self, because you can do that. You are your higher self, and it's a matter of living in surrender for the most part. Surrender to your higher self. Surrender to the divine flow. And I guess the way I like to do that is every single day. It's important to set intentions, because that's part of how we create. Setting intentions that your higher self comes in, that God comes in. Setting intentions that, clarity comes in. And allowing it to. I lost my train of thought for a second. Setting intentions. Yes, because that's how we create. Something that came to me recently is like the only force that you really need in the 5D earth, in this new energy, the only force you need is the God force. Literally though, that's literally how it is. I'm not even exaggerating. It's like literally the only force you need is the God force. That's like everything, You can actually, when you set intentions, it's like your spirit, your guides, your team, it's like your Merkaba, your energy field, everything. Literally, it's true. The whole universe is working in cooperation for you, in co-creation with you. That's why it's so important to set intentions every single day. I set intention at the beginning of the day, and it does make an effect. And this is relevant to what I was saying before, because whether it's something beautiful, it's something creative that I'm setting intentions for, or if something, a challenge comes up, because that's just living in this world, that's just living in the 3D matrix, as challenges come up all the time, whether it's with people, with places, with things, with whatever. And the biggest thing that I've learned to do is, when that happens, is of course learning how to respond rather than react, the best you can. And also surrendering to the higher self. That can look like, for me, that looks like, I literally reach out to my higher self and I basically give it up, give it to God, that kind of thing. Like that's how you surrender. It's just like, just let it go. Like, I can't control it. You can't control it. You can't control other people. You can't control these things. You can control coming into your own awareness and coming into that part of yourself that loves you unconditionally. That's what you surrender to. That's what I mean. And another really amazing thing you can do, that it's like, ever since I started doing this, I'm like, I literally can't believe I've gone like my whole life without doing this, is setting intentions before you go to bed. Because in the dream realm, you can have so much information can be given to you, so many answers you're looking for can be given to you. Setting intentions before you go to bed, if you have a difficult thing going on in your life, it's like, I'd like to have a conversation with Jesus. I'd like to have a conversation with my higher self about this topic. Please show me clarity. Please show me what I can do. Please show me what's the highest, holiest, most aligned thing for me to do for myself and for everyone. That's how I live my life, literally. That's how you become the higher self. Because even if you don't remember your dreams, it's not even necessarily about that. Because even if you don't remember your dreams, it's amazing if you can. Dreams are one of the, if not one, it's one of the greatest tools we truly have. But even if you don't remember your dreams, that doesn't mean that you didn't still have that experience. Because I've had things like that. I set an intention before I go to bed. I don't really remember my dreams. But guess what? When I wake up and I meditate and I go about my day, the answer ends up revealing itself. And it happens pretty quickly. You know what I mean? And it can be an answer to something that the day before I thought was impossible. I had all these stories about it. I was like, how could I possibly do this? Blah, 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 monkey mind. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to think about this. I'm going to sleep on it. I'm going to dream on it. I'm going to set my intentions. And then the next day, everything is aligned. Because the higher realms were already lining things up for you. Because that's the God force. And that's the only force you need. You don't need to force anything. In my experience, in this new energy, setting intentions is the force. You set intentions clearly because we're creator beings. That's what we are. And you want to set those intentions clearly because it just makes it way easier for yourself and for the spiritual components to come together for you, in my experience. It's a twofold part because that's the beauty of intentions, because we do like to create. We're like, oh yeah, like I want this, I want to experience this. Again, whether it's like I want to experience this beautiful vacation or whatever, something just like that, or whether it's like I want to experience navigating this, difficult relationship or this difficult experience. I intend to experience this challenge with the highest grace and learn all the lessons I need to learn to keep going. Just intend that. Just literally, Jesus, take the wheel. That's how I live my life the best I possibly can. And that's not a flex. It's the fact that when I don't live my life like that, everything gets crazy. Like it gets very obvious that, I gotta let go at this point. It's not for me to control. It's for me to sit back and tend, because that is like our control, is our intentions, because that's our power. That's how we co-create with the universe. Because it's not, how do I say this? You still are participating in your life. It's strange, but I'm sure a lot of people, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It feels like you're kind of a bystander in your life because you get to observe all these things. And that's the beauty. And that's the last thing I'm going to say, because I want to keep this short, is not to take things so seriously. Again, there's this another, I don't know why I'm quoting all these sayings that I have these sayings in my mind that I like to go back to. And one of them is, be sincere, not serious. Be sincere. That's why we're here, is to be who we are, to be honest, to be authentic, to be vulnerable, to really be who we are. Seriously, the only opinion about you that matters is your own. Remember that, because that gets really hairy at times. For me at least, I find that I'm tested with that a lot. It's like, yeah, that's really important to remember. Because it's, yeah, people are gonna come for you. I don't mean that like physically, but it's just like that's just a part of being human. You have people come for you in different ways. Throughout your experience that are gonna kind of maybe question your integrity to a point where you question your own integrity, and those are really beautiful opportunities to look within and to find your power and to stand in your power and to realize that that's where your power is coming from. It's from inside of you. It's not coming from anyone else. But I digress. But yeah, not so being sincere always. But the ego always wants to take everything so seriously. And even if it is a serious thing, because I understand that for sure, but it's like, just ask yourself, does being really serious and tense and stressed and delirious about something, does that ever help? It really doesn't. Unless you actually are in survival mode because you're literally doing something for survival, like, you know what I mean? That's kind of why we have this whole fight or flight reflex. But, other than that, even if it's a very serious thing, I find that when we come back to a more lighthearted, playful, because life is a dream. This life is like a dream. When we come back to this more lightheartedness, this playfulness, a lot of times we find the answers we're actually looking for, because it's when you're in these states of peace and clarity and joy that you can actually find. That's when your higher self starts channeling to you easy. When we're in fear, when we're in lack, we're defensive, when we're worrying and confused, or whatever the case may be, kind of these lower vibrations, it's good to feel through that, but it's usually not good to try to make a decision in those energies. That's why I say, like, surrender to the higher self. It's like, I feel that stuff, I set my intentions very clear, and if I have to, I set my intentions for the dream time and I sleep on it, and when I wake up I usually know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. It's not an expectation, but it's just how it works. Dreams are really powerful. It's just sleeping. Again, even if you don't remember your dreams yet, don't be discouraged. Still do it and just experiment and try it. Because, again, even if you don't remember your dreams, you're always doing. If you're sleeping, you're doing something in your dreams. You're doing something in your sleep. You're traveling. You're healing. You're doing all kinds of things. You can set intention to heal. Heal something. Higher self, I'd like to heal my throat chakra while I sleep, or I'd like to have more clarity on this topic, or I'd love to, explore the astral realm. I don't know, get creative with it, whatever it is that you're working on, whatever it is you want to do. You can benefit a lot from starting to set intentions for going to sleep, and intentions when you start your day. That's like free real estate. So many people don't even cash in on, is like, before you even get into your day, as soon as you wake up, can you set an intention that today's going to bring you clarity, that today is going to bring you joy, that today is going to bring you abundance, that today is going to bring you an unexpected gift. Because you can do that, and it really works. But so often we don't even think about it. And that's really the beauty of being powerful creators. You can know all of these things I'm talking about, but if you don't actually practice it, start practicing creating energy balls in your hands with intentions, with beautiful sacred symbols, and play with that energy, create that energy, blessing your food, blessing your crystals, blessing your body, envisioning light coming through your body. You just get so creative with it, because we're literally, that's the most beautiful part about this expansion, and why we're going through all these shifts and intensities, is because don't forget that you're literally getting more powerful by the day. You literally are. Don't forget that. And the more you start to open up your mind's eye and your heart and start practicing every day with your power, however that manifests for you, I want to say, don't be lazy. Obviously, it's your free will and it's your choice. But, for me, I know that sometimes I've been lazy. But now that I'm really really starting to just hone in on, it's almost not laziness, actually, and a lot of people will resonate with this. It's actually, for me, it's actually not laziness. It's the fact that I've had such a hard time believing in myself. Just to be totally vulnerable with you, because a lot of people I know have that. And so it's like we won't do these things because we actually don't maybe fully believe in ourselves. We don't fully believe that it's possible. And you really have to push that, push that with yourself, because literally there's no limits. I guess that's like the theme of today. That's what keeps coming up, is like there's literally no limits to what you can do. So serious. And that's been my experience, because again, I push my limits all the time. You know, I do things now that I didn't even think was possible a month ago, because I had to push that limit and I had to break that wall. And it's really like a wall in a way. And again, I have to use words for this, but it's like a wall between like you and God. It's a wall between you and Source that doesn't need to be there. It's not even a real wall. You know, it's like that wall of disbelief or doubt. And I understand that feeling. It's tricky, it's painful. That doubt is heavy. But again, the more you practice and the more you tune in, the more you connect, the more you just trust. Even if you do have doubt, just push. How much can I trust? Because when you start doing energetic things, like whether it's shielding, you know, or energy work, Reiki, healing yourself, you know, starting to use your light body, use your Merkaba. You can talk to your Merkaba, you know, Merkaba, you know, I don't know. If you need something, you can literally speak to your Merkaba for assistance. You know, it's like, you know, I need to find someone who. Here's an example that actually I did recently. I had my partner and I ended up having to rescue a baby hawk, and I don't really trust people, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I possibly going to find somebody who I trust to really care for this animal, because it had a broken leg? Because I really don't trust people like that. I mean, that's another story for another day, but I'm really protective. I felt really protective over this hawk, is all I'm saying. And so I did that, you know, I said, hey, like, you know, higher self, spirit guides, Merkaba, I need to find someone that's really going to take care of this hawk as close as possible to me. And sure enough, you know, then I slept on it, and the next day we found the perfect lady who, you know, just had a beautiful vibe, and she specialized in baby hawks and raptors. She specialized in that. The hawk's number ended up being the 77th one in her whole career. 77 is, you know, it's a beautiful number. So that was really beautiful. You know, that's just one example. Something random like that. You know, it's like you literally put that intention out there, and in the higher realms, however you want to see it, will take care of it for you. God will take care of it for you. You really don't have to force it. Because, you know, if I would have just like raw dogged that experience and try to go online and find all these different people, it gets really overwhelming really fast, because there's a million different animal rehab places, and it's like, you know, which one's the right one? So it's really good to get ahead of it. That's really what it is. Get ahead of it within. Get ahead of it with your team. Get ahead of it, because that's just how it works. So, I digress. See, I think that might be good. That might be good for now. I feel kind of complete with that. Just like, you remember not to take things so seriously, because even those serious things, when you come at them with more lightheartedness, remembering that, you know, you're way more than just this one being, this human. You're way more. The human's beautiful, but you're so much more. You start looking at it from that bigger angle. You'll have a lot more of your power come back to you. So that's a good reminder. You know, in a way, this is a game. We created this game. And it's when we take it so seriously that we tend to suffer. Whew. So, yes, so much energy. I feel like it's just all over the place. So thank you for listening. If you listen to all of this, or whatever, even if you listen to some of it, I send you all my love, all my gratitude. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Thank you for showing up every day and being the best version of yourself you can be. You know, you are so brave, all of you. I don't care, you know, who you are. You're very brave to be on Earth, You're brave to have made it to this point and to keep going. You're brave to have dared to go within the depths of yourself. That's what I was saying earlier. A lot of people are so afraid of it. We all have fear of it. And it's strange. It's like we have fear of unconditional love. You know, that's how deep the matrix is. It's like, you know, it's like we have this unconditional love within us, and it's like, it's almost like we have resistance to even go there. We have fear of even going there. But when you do, it's like, ah, oh, finally, I can breathe. It's like, I feel like I'm home again. You know. All right. Thank you so much. Again, much love to all of you. I hope you have an amazing summer solstice and just enjoy this day. Enjoy this portal. There's so much you can do with it. Do some grid work. You know, bless the land. Bless the land you live on. Or go to like a nature park in your area and just however you can, if you feel called. This is just something you can do that really benefits the earth and really benefits humanity. And it really benefits you too, because every time I do this, I feel so much better. Like, go to your favorite park or lake or, you know, whatever. Or you don't even have to be there physically. You can just do this, like, you know, in your mind. And just pick a place and just send love to it, you know, just send clarity to it. Just, you know, however we all have different ways of doing this, but it's like, if you feel called to do that kind of thing, I don't know why that came up as well, but it's just like recently I've been doing that, and it's so beautiful to tap into like the earth's grid and send it love and watch it respond. That's the beautiful thing about practicing. When you start practicing using your power and your energy and your light body, that's why I can sit here and say this even though I sound like a lunatic, because it's like, it works. It works. You have to experience it yourself, you know, and keep doing it, because you'll find that it works, and you'll find what works for you and maybe what doesn't work for you. But I'm telling you, you can do so many things that people think are impossible. You know, that's how I got to where I'm at now, because obviously I have my doubts, but in many ways I've always known, you know, I'm fortunate to have always known to always question the status quo, no matter what. Even your own status quo, even your own belief systems, you know, question what's possible. You know, am I really stuck here? What's the deeper meaning in this? What's the deeper lesson in this? Because as soon as you learn that and you surrender to your higher self, what are you showing me here? What is this about? Please show me. Just let it go. Let go, let go, let go, let go. Let go of your stories. And it will arise. The answer will be right there the whole time. But now you can see it. When you surrender and relax, release control. It's right there the whole time within you. Okay, I love you again. Thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you soon.